So I'm in the events controller, and let's create another get method, and this time it will return a single event. But I'm gonna copy this because it will be fairly similar and paste it here. So once again, we want to return an event DTO, and we want to do it async as a task. We can still call it get, but this time we need to of course pass in the ID of the event. So it's gonna be an integer event ID. And let's have a look in our interface. So the method we are trying to implement is this one. Get event, and it passes the event ID, and we can have the boolean for the including gigs as well. So in order for us to pass in the event ID, we need to pass it into our get request. To do that, we'll simply do parentheses after HTTP get, and we will pass in the event ID. So the URI will be API/events/event ID, and then the parameter for including gigs. So we go to our results, and this time we of course go to our method for get event, a single event from our event repository, and we need to pass in the event ID. And we also pass in the include gigs. Now since we are returning a single result, I'm going to rename the variable to result. And because it is a single result, we need to verify that we actually retrieve something, that something was returned to us. So we'll check if the result is null, then we can simply return a status for not found. Basically saying this event ID is not valid or the event doesn't exist. If it was found, then we have our mapped entity, so I'll rename this to single entity. And we'll go to our mapper, and we map the event DTO to the result. And I'm going to delete this comment, I don't need it here. And since this is a single entity, we are returning one event, I have to remove the collection. Before we return the collection of all events, now we are returning a single event. In fact, I have to remove it from the signature of the action here, because we are returning action result of single event DTO. And at the end, we return OK with the entity. And if something goes wrong, we can return database failure. That's okay, we can leave this status code as is. Alright, so this is our get event method, and let's run it and see if everything works as expected. So in the Postman, I'm going to create a call to events slash, and the event ID I want is 1. So we have API/events/1. It's a get request, and let's send it. And here is our event. We have the event and we have the venue. We did not want any gigs, so the collection is empty there. So now let's actually add the gigs. So I'll use the question mark and include gigs equals true. Let's run that. And I get the event, which is event 1, the venue, and the 2 gigs along with the comedians. So our action is working correctly. And next, let's get the event by date.